Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this lesson, I want to talk about how to rotate the waist in Tai Chi. This is a follow-up to my previous video on how to root in Tai Chi. Rooting involves the use of our lower abdominal muscles, linking one leg or the other to the ground. Rotation is going to involve our upper waist muscles that will, of course, coordinate with our lower waist muscles with every movement that we do. This lesson is appropriate for those at beginner, intermediate, or advanced levels of Tai Chi practice because it's a fundamental knowledge we should have, and even advanced practitioners don't often consciously think about what the rotation is. It's very easy to think about rotation when we're turning the body visibly, but every movement in Tai Chi involves rotation. Even if we don't see the body rotating, we are in fact rotating, but we're combining this rotation with other elements of rotation that come from the lower abs and our hips to produce one net result, which might appear like a turn or it might appear like a straight line. I'll give you an example of this in everyone's daily life when we walk. When we're walking, we are constantly rotating, but it looks like we're moving in a straight line. You can see the rotation reflected in the swing of the arms. As I rotate the waist, the arms are swinging because of that. But as I change the root during the rotation of the arms, it levels out or cancels out the rotation so it looks like a straight line. The same applies to Tai Chi. Even if we don't appear to be rotating, we are rotating. And as I said, in the Tai Chi Code, I refer to this as direction. It's going to coordinate with the root, and then that also is going to be coordinated with the power which comes from the hips. If you're new to the channel, I'm Dr. Todd Martin. I'm a family medicine practitioner and Tai Chi practitioner, and the creator of both the Tai Chi Code and the Walking Code. We're going to get into the discussion of direction or waist rotation, and I'm going to do it in the context of the Tai Chi movement of brush knee, because there's a lot of great rotation going on, and because of the arm swing, it is fairly clear to see in most spots. So let's go ahead and get started. If you enjoy the video, make sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel, share it, and drop me a comment. Let me know how this adds to your understanding of waist rotation in Tai Chi. Before I jump into brush knee, let's talk about the anatomy a little bit. When I'm talking about rotation, we're talking about the upper abdominal muscles. These are the external obliques that I'm talking about that connect onto the lower edge of the rib cage and down onto the pelvis on either side. The external obliques turn the upper waist towards the opposite side. So the external obliques on the right side of my body turn the body to the left, and the external obliques on the left turn the body to the right. And since my arms are connected to the upper waist, you can best appreciate the rotation from these external obliques with the motion of the arms. In addition to the rotational aspect from the external obliques, there's also a flexion component from them, which is why if we're doing a crunchy sit-up, we are crunching down and across the body like this from the external oblique. But the flexion component from the upper waist is going to be canceled out if we're moving properly by the rotation from our lower abdominal muscles. And that's why we can appreciate rotation in this horizontal plane when we're moving correctly, but we most often are not seeing rotation in this plane. So we're going to be focusing primarily on this horizontal plane rotation. If you just stand and rotate your waist from side to side and reflect that in your arm movement so you can feel the arm project from that rotation, not from your shoulder action, but directly from the waist. That is what we're talking about. And we're doing this constantly in Tai Chi. Every movement that we are doing has an element of either turning to the left or turning to the right. There's no moment where we're not turning in one direction or the other. The net effect is going to be determined by what our lower abs and our hips are doing at the same time, and what the sequence is that got us to that point. So now that we understand where the rotation's coming from, let's look at brush knee coming from the end of crane cools its wings. And I'm going to demonstrate two different versions of brush knee so we can see how the waist rotation connects with the root and the power. The first example will look like this. The second example ends the same way, but has a slightly different entrance. And we'll look at the difference between the rotation, comparing the one to the other. First, let's back up and get into crane cools its wings from parting the wild horse's mane. We do a half step up, shift back into empty stance, and then we rise into crane cools its wings. When we are rising up, we are turning the upper waist to the left. Right before the rise, we're turning the upper waist to the right. So in this position, I'm turning the upper waist to the right. And to complete crane cools its wings, I simply turn the upper waist to the left, and that creates the movement that you just saw. Now, what we're going to do is go into brush knee. I'm currently turning the upper waist to the left. Now, I'm continuing to turn to the left. What I've changed is the root and the power. And then now I'm turning to the right. You can see that very clearly. And then I'm going to turn back to the left. And then now I'm going to turn to the right. And I'm continuing to turn to the right. And then now I'm going to turn to the left. You could only see rotation happening during a few of those motions. The other motions, I was turning, but you couldn't see it because of how the hip and lower abs are working. So in this motion here, as I'm lowering down, I am turning to the left with the upper waist as my root is turning back to the right, and I'm pushing from my left hip, pushing down from the glutes on the left. That's what's creating this motion here, the torquing or twisting action. The upper waist and the lower waist are turning in opposite directions. So think of yourself still reaching forward with your right side at this motion. Now I'm going to turn to the right while I continue to turn the lower abs to the right and push with the left hip. So I call this concordant rotation. The upper waist and lower waist are turning in the same direction. Here we're using torsional rotation. The upper and lower waist are turning in opposite directions. Now they're turning in the same direction. And then as I turn back, now they're turning in opposite directions again. When I turn back from this position, in addition to turning the waist to the left, I'm also flexing my left hip. Up until that point, I was extending the left hip, pushing down against the ground. That helps turn me in this direction. But now as I turn back to the left and flex the left hip, the flexion of the left hip also creates a pulling action in this direction, helping to window wiper my palm up to my ear. So it's not just the turn from the waist, it's the turn from the hip that's creating that action while I keep the root on my right leg. So that was this motion here. And then now what I'm going to do is just turn the upper waist to the right. And that brings me into the heel out step. Now I'm going to block down or deflect down. As I do this motion, which is a common deflecting motion in Tai Chi, I'm turning the upper waist to the right the whole time. It looks like there's some rotation going to the left because I'm pushing down and I'm turning the root to the left. So I'm now rooting the left leg, torsional rotation again as I turn the upper waist to the right. And that's what's creating this motion here, this blocking or deflecting down motion. My energy from the upper waist going into the arm is coming from the left side. It's the tuck from the lower abs that's helping pull me around. And then after I get there, I reverse everything and turn the upper waist to the left and turn the lower abs back to the right as I extend off the right hip. So let's just look at the direction, the upper waist rotation for each one of the movements. I'm turning to the left, continuing to turn to the left, turn to the right, turn to the left, turn to the right, continue turning to the right, turn to the left. I'm going to do this from the side view and call out the rotations again. I'm turning to the left, left, right, left, right, right, left. Now I'm going to go through the second variation, which is probably the more common one you'll see if you're watching brush knee on YouTube videos. The beginning is the same here, but then I'm going to lift the right leg and turn the body and then step out, dropping the left palm here and then striking directly forward as the palm goes across. There's no deflection down. The difference there is related to both the rotation and the hip action. These motions here are the same, but now as I flex the left hip, I'm going to continue turning the waist to the right. In the previous version, I turned the waist to the left at this point, window wipering my palm up to the ear. In this position, I don't turn yet. I continue turning to the right. And then now I'm going to take the lower abs and turn them to the left. And that creates the step out. I'm continuing to turn the upper waist to the right now. The lower waist is turning to the left. And then now I do the switch in the rotation at the end. So it's a slight variation, but for the purposes of learning waist rotation, either one is fine. We just have to be rotating at all times. So now I want to make one point clear on the rotation. It's that the rotation never stops. Even when it doesn't look like I'm rotating, I have to continue rotating. So when I am deflecting down, I'm still actively turning to the right the whole time. And then now I'm actively turning to the left. And when we reach the end point of a movement, it doesn't mean the end point of the rotation. I continue to rotate. I don't stop. Continuity in the movement and in transition. If I'm transitioning here, then I flex my left hip, and that brings me to the next transition. I don't stop rotating ever. That applies to Tai Chi. It also applies in our daily life. When I'm standing up on 2 feet, I am rotating. We've just reached an equilibrium position where that rotation doesn't produce any more net movement. I need to rotate again to start the body in motion actively, but the rotation never stopped. Tai Chi, normal walking, standing posture, that rotation always has to be there. I'm going to divert into a bit of walking technique here for the walking code because this is a common problem. People do not rotate in the proper fashion, or they don't rotate at all from the upper waist when they have several of common problems, one being duck foot walking. When people walk with duck feet, they are engaging both sides of the lower abs at the same time, turning the feet out. And in order to compensate for the posture, they have to negate all of the rotation from the upper waist. And that results in this poor shoulder and palm positioning in addition to the position of the feet. And so when people walk with duck feet, they are not rotating at all with the upper waist. Everything is being generated from the lower abs and from the hip flexion. This is poor posture that affects not only the lower back, it affects our hips, the knees, and the feet, collapsing the arches, but it also internally rotates the shoulder in an artificially rotated position that strains and pinches the rotator cuff, increasing the risk of rotator cuff tendinitis. So using this continuous upper waist rotation is valuable for Tai Chi, of course, but it is essential for the good health of your joints. So I think it's helpful for everybody to get a little Tai Chi practice in there because it starts to make the imperative of rotation much more obvious, because you can't do the movements with the arms without rotating the body. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back in the next video talking about the power coming from the hips. Thanks for watching.